Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel here today. Today we're here for some more Princess Tutu action with episodes 20 and 21, ever closer to that pointy end of the season and the show in general. I think I would imagine by the end of today we're heading towards endgame. Just a feeling I got. I feel like we're just about ready for some big shit to start happening again, and maybe that's another theory behind, you know, the lack of YouTube comments over here. Just again, if you know that something cool's about to come up, you don't want to blow your load now. That's how I would be looking at it anyway, I think. So I guess it'll be left to me to summarize things, but I'll do that after I shout out my patrons. Just in general, a huge thank you for the support. It's blown up as of recently, bigger than it ever has before, and I'm appreciative. Makes me, happy to come in here and record. Not that I normally am not, but like I'm just in a good mood. It's put me in a good mood. I don't know. Thank you, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And yeah, there's a few crazy ones here in the list, so I'll try my best. I'm looking at it now. Somebody's given me an absolute, I don't know anyway, a very big thank you to my patrons, starting here with Sean, Ace Lightning, AJ, Akumancer, Panorama Hamadama-sama, BD422, Patero, Brendan M. Gibbons, Brett Jones, Bryce Peak, Capella, Choba Copley, Cure Dynamic, Dakota, Dapper Dwarf, Diak Lord, Dorke Hyo, Ed, Fancy Question Mark, Fluffy, Fried Rice, Fruit, Gloriana Tenebrae, Glyke, Hans Peter, I. Bailey, Ika, Iria, Yako Yavanen, Jacob R., Jeff Solis, Joran, Kusogtha, Clem, Lexi, Lick H, Lou, Lupe Farugia, Maddock the Doppelganger, Matthew Bradshaw, Matthew Mortlock, Mickey Babbers, Miru, Mistake El Chen, Molly Weinberger, Mr. Maniacs, Nature Without Man, Noah, Panzersharp 333, Pike, Ronlad B&K, St. Lily, Sal, Sam1373, Samuel Guerrero, SGM Janus, Skeleton, Tentacle Member, Waifu Overdose Without a Net, Ren, Binshi, Jummy Boo, Kelvin, and Vanessa Gonzalez. Thank you very much for giving me money. I enjoy the money. Princess Tutu, we're in a precarious spot here. So last week I would argue that we kind of had a focus episode there on Fakir. Fakir's big because Fakir spins off into other characters, which I guess the general thesis at the moment going on is what happens if our fate doesn't happen, then what is to happen? Are we just going to get railroaded into doing the same thing again? Do I need to find a new thing? It's this struggle of these characters against what has been given to them by the narrative and Drosselmeyer and so forth. Again, Fakir's pretty obvious there. He can't get past a certain part in the book. He can't read an ending. He can't even imagine an ending for himself. We did a lot of fun stuff there with the Ghost Knight last week and, how he sees himself in the Ghost Knight and how he kind of is this wandering person, looking for duty, looking for something to do here, but, just struggling. I guess it means to say that, hey, you shouldn't have fought against fate because look at what it's given you now. We did very similarly with Ahiru and the theming of that whole Hermia episode about confessing. So look at the joy that confessing has brought to Hermia in a lot of ways, right? And look at what you're being forced not to do. That stagnation, that indecision there, that lack of forward plot momentum that you're doing right now is detrimental. So do the thing that we want you to do. And Rue, most interestingly of all, but considering that she's purportedly one of the bad guys and, she's controlling things, blah, blah, blah. Like, it doesn't make sense almost for her to have a struggle here too, but she does. And her fate is to never be loved by anybody other than the prince or the raven. And once again, that's some undue influence stuff now that we consider that the prince is also kind of just the raven as well. So you can never love anybody but this guy, raven guy. I think, again, Rue's got a lot of work there to work her way through that and, try to see what is on the other side of that too. She's very early days, I guess, is my point. But it seems that relationship between her and Evil Muto is just continuing to sour and sour and sour, and she can't get anybody else. Nobody else loves her, per se, except for Ahiru, of course. So, what are we going to do with that? How is Rue going to come out of that? Is she going to break out of the stupor? All these other questions. And then, of course, Muto's is very obvious. Muto is meant to be the hero, and he's not being the hero at the moment. And, like, that kind of internal fight against fate is now manifesting both, like, inwardly and outwardly. He is, like, tormented as he's being torn between kind of hero and villain here, which again is just ratcheting things up for Ahiru as well, as, you know, you would feel that her sacrifice would fix things, and yeah, it's perfectly poised. That's not even including any of the weird stuff going on. There's a beshadowed figure going around doing things. I'm still keeping an eye on it. I don't really know what to make of it. Uzura's quite interesting. Drosselmeyer. Yeah. I guess we'll see what direction we go in this episode. We've been killing it with the intertextuality stuff as well, so I expect us to continue to go down that path as well. That sound like enough setup? Right, let's jump in here to episode 20 of Princess Tutu right now. Rightio, episode 20 of Princess Tutu up there, ready to go. 23 minutes and 56 seconds on this one. Sync up accordingly with your own copy. I have the official version. Please get that version if you would like my version. If not, there's a picture-in-picture version in the description below for your viewing pleasure. Let's give this thing a 3, 2, 1. Rightio, 3, 2, 1, go. Like a clock or hypnotism? Young woman. Arranged marriage. Love triangle-y stuff. Interesting. I guess we'll have to see which character it applies to. Which, again, I keep saying it's more just thematic than, I guess, that literal all the time. Of course, I'm me, so I want to talk about the Ahiru Muto Fakir of it all. In my view, there is something arranged there by the narrative, but is that what she really feels? Time will tell, I guess. You could look at it as Muto as the young woman. Between, of course, you know, the sweetheart there being Ahiru. And, like, I'm betrothed to Ru. Like, how do I figure all that through? Unsure which one I really like in all of it. Yeah, for sure. It's what happens when you have a bit of a love polygon thing going on. You can kind of, you know, apply to a lot of characters. I guess you can't really do Ru, because unless you do Ru is the young woman, Ahiru one of the partners, and Muto the other. Because she got nothing to do with Fakir. Or it could be some other thing. It probably is. Or some episode-specific character, too. Sup? Who the fuck are you? She's always on cleaning duty. But who's that woman? Shoku. She's great. Good stuff. You're a sick fuck, you know that? Like Rachel, but different? You freaky as hell. So what's the connection here? Stink's a childhood friend or something. Do you know her? It has been a long time. No, it's a long time to explain. So before Muto. Righto. And she hasn't been in the picture at all? We all opened our eyes there. Don't really talk to him at the moment. He's trouble. He still be saying that. 100%. Why? For what purpose? Okay. Alright. Well, he's definitely softened. I'll give him that. What is this scary bridge? Pardon? Well, he was a super knight guy after that. Knights don't write. They fight. Yeah, that sounds like Drosselmeyer. And I mean, like, in this town, like, that's this town's whole thing, too? It brings stories to life? Are you going to try to convince him to write again? Ah, white dress. But what if you had a pen, my brother? Then you could impact things, maybe. If you do not have an ending, just write another. Okay, sore spot. Cool shot. Okay, dude. Take a day off, Fakir. Come on now. Ah! Wow. It's just what Lily wanted to say. Alright, what are you up to, buddy? Looks like you're on that Raven shit. I'm gonna dance super scary. Ostrich girl. Terrifying. That's another crazy shot. Ew. Give me that heart now. Oh, his wedding sense. Yeah, who are you getting married to? Hans. Alright, he's trying to do the thing again. I heard that. Who's watching along? Yeah, I mean, I'm starting to lose faith. Shut the hell up, Drosselmeyer. Get a clue. He's probably got baggage. I don't know, it's not new territory for him. What's with the frickin' Groucho Marx? I don't understand. Huh? Explain? A long time ago. Oh. Oh. Gotcha. I see. Still a show for kids, really, huh? Yeah. Just they gotta leave a lot unsaid there. Now you've been very helpful. Rätsel. Shut up. Bit early. Some shit's gonna go down. Sure. Oh, the soundtrack, man. Okay, he's doing the thing again, everybody. She's very good at thwarting your plans, Muto. Okay, that's the signal, but get in there. Now. She's very good at, like, miming things. Damn. Yeah, love me, the third option. It's time to go. Specifically for Kier. It's a fucking debate battle. Couple master debaters. Oh, go on. Alright, now he's just getting mad. Motherfucker, this is my Raven sword? He's so gay. Whoa! Motherfucker, they got Elden Ring in this shit. Alright, so you're just fucked in the head. Can't even die right. This may be getting a bit more personal here. Cool shot. Yeah, he gained back control just in time. He saved him. Interesting in the audio. Well, that went places. What are you gonna go do? Start writing, baby. How many pillows does one person need? I spent all night writing. What did the story say? Where? Oh. Sounds like you're a bit scared, Drosselmeyer. That's all I'm hearing there. Bit confused there. Did he write a story or did he not? Did he hand her a fucking blank book? I don't understand. Anyway, I still really like the lead up, like the stuff just before it. Some choice scenes used in that montage to get across his motivation in choosing to write at that point. Yeah, particularly really liking him almost being inspired by Muto fighting against his stuff, right? Fighting against that other side and the Raven directly, and stopping himself from stabbing Fakir in the face. Like taking that as inspiration for facing said fears and considering all things. Once again, now the whole, like, I don't have an ending to my story type idea. Like, a lot of things are fitting into place, is my point. Like, there's a reason why he's reading all these books, they don't have endings. He has this power to write endings. It's like almost like you should use that power and harness that power to write your own, which again is him taking his own agency there, of course. As well as the stuff about him in the narrative and his thing about being killed as the knight and perishing to the Raven. That's now almost like hereditary, right? It runs in the family. It's something that he is scared of to a, like, traumatic level. Again, just makes sense. It fits very nicely. Oh yeah, I'm not doing next time ons. I got jump scared there. Either way, I'll jump straight into that next one. Why not? And there we have it. Episode 21 up there, ready to go. 23 minutes and 56 seconds on this one. Sync up accordingly with your own copy. I have that same official version. Picture in picture in the description below. Let's give this thing a 3, 2, 1. Radio, 3, 2, 1, go. I've heard that one before. Sounds very similar to Fakir. Huh. Abhor. Great word. Well, I mean, that's Drosselmeyer, my friend. He is very famously the man that died. But now he's like pulling the strings from beyond the grave, even. Ugh. Crazy. What's his end game? I guess. I don't really know. I'm sure I've said it before, but like a position of power like that through writing, like controlling reality, it's essentially godhood. Some, kings versus gods thing there, and, yeah. There's a reason why the kings revolted, put it that way, against the god. Feared his power. That's pretty smart. Yeah. Just, what's he got cooking now, Drosselmeyer? That's my, that's our next step. Also, not a lot of roux. Not a lot of roux, everybody. We got a little bit of roux getting cucked there, and questioning the fact that, we're sending out Muto as the only person that can go out and find other lovers and harvest pure hearts or whatever. And I'm just sitting over here. This is a necessary step for me to marry him. He can go away and try to bring in all these other ladies. That ought to not feel very good. You'd imagine so. Ah. What are these looks? Well, Ruchan's always been Ruchan. What the... nice dream, man. That's an interesting one. Is your role as Tutu tied to his suffering? A little bit. What's that dream about, Ahiru? The spinners. It's like they're playing in the ashes. Bring on the spinners. Library again. I remember this room too. So he's reading on the ladder. True. What'd you say about Shirabe? He's got a lot of baggage there, man. Maybe give it a test first. Write a story about having a nice sandwich or something. That's not how stories work. Ahiru, you're making it worse. Yeah, a little bit. Is this that same mysterious person? They looked very lizard-like last episode. Do I want to take it? Author-san? Like just before? Well, it's not author, it's auteur. Okay. What are we doing? Oh, point. So what I was about to say, it's normally very painful. Thank you for the toe shoes. Stop stealing all me stuff. I was going to talk about that. I don't know, I'm just trying to keep everything together. Ooh. Thanks for the psychoanalysis, Neko-sensei. I don't really want to marry you. Thanks for the save. I do like when he does some cat shit. That's great. That's wonderful. It's almost like he wanted to be found. Oh, library guy. I knew that the library guy was important. What an evil guy. It's all coming together now. Got the library guy, got the evil guy, the sneaky guy. A lot of guys. That makes even more sense now. Me and you can rule the city together. Spider-Man? Yeah, you stand up for your boyfriend. Come on. I think Fakir knows that already, yeah. Can I come along too? Now, who is this beshadowed freak? There's more. They seem like your fucking mates. What's going on? This seems like that's like the cult of Drosselmeyer or something. I don't know what's going on. Sure, we'll go along with it. And Zura's here too. Uzura, excuse me. I like her walk. You're annoying. He already doesn't like Uzura. She ruined the fucking library for him. Can I wait outside? I'm a little bit fucking scared of that guy. Alright, dude. Oh, Ahiru. What? You just chucked fucking acid at me. Huh? What do you mean by that? I didn't know that. Alright, you're a freak. But pretty big revelation. I think after last episode, you could probably intuit that a little bit. I don't understand that part either, but sure. Whatever you say, sure. What, like, in days, or... Does he need any food, or... I don't really want to see those two right now. Yeah, he's all ravened out. Oh. Reminds me of Tutu. In front of everybody? Messy. How embarrassing. I don't want any special marriage training off you. Yeah, that's hella messy. That's crazy. And off they go. Correct. What happened? Are you feeding him? What are you... Oh, well, he probably needs to do those things. No. This guy's mad annoying. Seems arbitrary. Sure. Sure. He knows. He's locked. He's pulling the sword out of the stone, everybody. I'd love to get sucked in by a tree. Motherfucker, this is Luke Skywalker? This is the Force? What do you hear? Sick. He's alright. What is happening? Yo, what the fuck? This show's cool as shit. He's alright. He's okay. He's just a bit tree-ish. He's still good. This is mental. I disagree. I don't think you should do that. Tutu, I'm gonna need you to lock in here now. He's gonna become a tree. So is like Otto-san conscious of any of this? Yes. And how about that other girl? Yeah, you did a little bit. Yeah, how are you feeling? I mean... the vibes are down. Ah! He turned into a bird. And Joshua's freaking the fuck out. You repugnant filth. Alright, this shit was fucking mental. They took, like, fucking hella drugs when they made that. This show's for kids? It felt like Penguin Drum more than anything else, which is kind of... didn't see that coming. But it was cool. Let's start with the straightforward. I think the Ru Muto stuff is just continuing to spiral. And I think that the Fakir moving on and from fighting to something else was well telegraphed. He did find his other thing, which was good, his purpose. I didn't see him being related to Drosselmeyer coming. I didn't see how, like, spiritual and almost, like, tactile this writing power was and how many fucking rules it has. And then who's the tree? The tree's just like God or something. And I mean, that's that moment where, like, he's drifting away, upwards, into the nothingness, into the void, potentially dying, at least subtextually. And Ahiru brings him back. And then Ahiru's got this thing in the episode about what can she do with her power. That's matching up quite well. What about next? Okay, the cult freaks are still at large. Shaw, Ru, Ota, yeah? Anything else? They're gonna chop off his fucking hands? Crown of Stone. Rock and Stone, everybody. Sure. Probably something I should start to think about is I've got 5 episodes left now, so how am I going to structure things? 2 next week and 3 the following? It's possible. We'll see. It might even fall fortuitously. No, it won't. Okay. I was looking at Australia Day and the public holiday there, but it's not going to fall there. Anyway, that's for me to figure out later on. Those episodes were fucking wacko as shit, and you will see me tomorrow for some analysis on them. I look forward to it. And we're back. It's the next day. 2 more episodes in the book. Very, very weird ending to episode 21 there. Fucking Fakir turns into a tree. Pretty friggin' epic. I don't know what to say, man. It was a bit out there, but not in a way I disliked. Again, if I'm talking about Penguin Drum, I like Penguin Drum a lot. If you're reminding me of that, weirdly enough, it's probably a good thing. Just, yeah, we're getting a bit funky with it in a very cool way. Well, once again, I'm a little bit confused at the demographic of this show sometimes, because flat out it's just a bit too weird for kids sometimes, and, like, obviously very literary and referential and blah 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 blah. Like, is this really for kids? Really? I don't know, kind of threads that needle a little bit, I guess. I don't know, this week was all about Fakir. we learned lots of stuff about his origins and this power that he's always had, and why he's kept that power hidden, and what's happened in his past to make him want to do that as well. Lots and lots of Fakir stuff. And for the most part, I feel like it's fitting pretty seamlessly. It's fitting like a glove, these new revelations. It's just combining with everything else we already know and producing a whole picture. It's good. Good stuff. In that way, bringing in a character from Fakir's past, a family friend that has connections to Charon, Fakir, and Muto by proxy, is great. Just kind of like how they were before versus how they are now, and then how various different characters react to that. Before we split off from that, after again Fakir vows, I guess, to use this power, we are then introduced to Author. It's like author without the H, I guess. And he's a bit weird. He's a bit high-strung. I like the part where he's trying to like tenuously connect himself family tree-wise to Drosselmeyer as well. It's like, no, I'm in there too. I'm just like you. We're the same. We're not the same. I'm the chosen one, bitch. But yeah, I guess that's Library Kid. We've seen Library Kid around. We're also getting a little bit more knowledge about, I guess, these mysterious figures that have been hiding in the dark, and we're gonna get more. They're kind of like Drosselmeyer cult people. I'll rewatch the episode. I'll get some exact wordage there, but yeah, a few things are getting revealed, I guess. Now, before diving into these two, which I have up here, I wanted to talk about maybe a criticism, I guess. I don't know. I want some more Rue. I feel like Rue's really been dropped. She's kind of not done much for 6 or 7 episodes now, something like that. I liked Rue. I thought Rue was one of the stronger characters in this thing, and in my opinion, they're just not giving her the room to shine, at least yet. Again, they would need to do a lot to get to where I think that she should be in these last 5 or so episodes, but they could do it still. The jury's still out. I don't know, I always thought that she was fascinating, and again, all the reveals around her evilness and whatever else, and how she fights against that, and how pure her love for Muto seems in all of it as well. It's just, I thought that was a bed for more development we haven't really seen as of yet. In that way as well, I feel like maybe Ahiru's spinning her wheels a little bit. We're just kind of waiting for her to make a decision here or there. She's still just very protagonisty overall. I don't know, very nitpicky, but just saying what I think, of course. Fakir and Muto are great. I'm loving what they're doing with those two, but they're dropping the ball on the girls a little bit. Just a touch. Now we have 2 pieces here. We have Songs Without Words for the second episode and Bartered Bride for the first. The Bartered Bride is an opera. It is a Czech opera, of course, in Prague. Very cool. Where again, this thing's pretty intensive. I read through the plot here briefly. I'm not going to subject you to every little bit of it, but it seems a little bit more, I don't know, my impression of opera is always that it's a little bit more cerebral. This thing seems pretty much like a play, in my view. I don't know, you got to project a lot onto an opera and feel the emotion of what's happening rather than, again, just getting... And maybe that's just me, because most operas are not in fucking English, so I'm just not going to know what they're talking about. Maybe a little bit of that as well. Oh yeah, I should mention this as well. I was kind of surfing through channels the other day, and I saw an adaptation of Swan Lake by someone Burke. It was a British kind of production, and it was all male. It was quite interesting. I just kind of tuned in for a little bit, having some knowledge of Swan Lake now. I thought it was an interesting one. It kind of takes on that Prince character and gets a little bit darker. It was cool. I don't know. Random aside, this one here is pretty literal. We have Marenka, who's the main character. She is to be betrothed to somebody that she's never met before when she is in love with Yannick. And again, I'm not gonna... That applies to the episode already. I guess the difference here is that in the end here we have Marenka going off with Yannick, where if you were to make your equivalents, right, you have Rachel is what we're calling her. She doesn't end up with her beloved per se. She goes with her betrothed instead, the one that she is to be married to. So that's a little bit of a difference. But yeah, she has Hans, I believe. Hans is her guy. I don't know. Our adaptation here gets a little bit age gappy in a way too, which I'm not so cool with. But this thing seems pretty funny. Basically, the crux of it comes down to some fucking guy, I forget his name, Vasek. No, it was Kikal, of course. He, for some reason, really wants Marenka to get with this other guy. So he goes over to Yannick, who's like the one that she loves, and says, "Okay, can I pay you off? How much are you worth?" And he says, 300 florins, please, sir. Under one condition, no one but Micah's son may be allowed to wed Marenka. Hardy, hardy, ha. He is actually also Micah's son, just from a different marriage, as is the one that she was betrothed to, Vasek. So it's fun. It's like, it reveals at the end there. I don't know, but there's like fucking circus shit and like friend characters. It goes off the rails. It's a hoot and a half, I swear. I don't know, it's very applicable because it's a, love triangle thing with a arranged marriage in it. It's kind of what we're getting at. Now, Songs Without Words gets a little bit more esoteric. Now, Songs Without Words, series of short lyrical piano works by romantic composer Felix Mendelssohn. And I was a little bit confused here because I'm like, lyrical piano? Songs Without Words? That doesn't mean... Lyrical piano doesn't mean that it has lyrics. Come on, use your head. Lyrical piano instead means that it has, like, strong, emotionally evocative melodies and stuff. And essentially to me, this kind of read like, not Baby's first piano book, but like one of them. Like, it's a very, very popular book with, like, kind of pieces that can be tackled by people of most skill levels. Point being, to me, my vibe from this kind of thing is that it's like learning. I'm like learning something and like trying to get to some emotionally deep, resonant thing deep within it, but it's kind of basic and a little bit kind of scaffoldy at the moment. I'll quote this here as well because it's by Felix Mendelssohn and Sister Fanny, of course. Very cool. Mendelssohn himself resisted attempts to interpret the songs too literally and objected when his friend Marc-André Sorche sought to put words to them to make them literal. What the music I love expresses to me is not the thought too indefinite to put into words, but on the contrary, too definite. Resisting the urge to put words to something is interesting, because I think you tie that into what Fakir's trying to do. Like, it's a little bit more about the emotional flow there, rather than, attaching some words to... Like, I really like this quote. It's not I don't want kind of lyrics because the songs are too airy-fairy. No, words cannot be specific enough to get to the emotional intent of this piece that I've made. And what can be conveyed without words, and the amount of love within that as well, and the actions of our protagonists here. Yeah, just... I thought that was maybe an angle to look at this through, because otherwise it's just some famous music that we're using in the background here. I don't really see much else for it. But as always, I'm probably incorrect. I normally am. Either way, what do you say we roll back through here and see what we can see? In retrospect, this opening little part here is clearly just about Rachel more than, any of the characters that I spoke about during the reaction. Again, they're normally pretty specific to the episodic character. Once upon a time, there was a young woman. The young woman was to marry a groom chosen by her parents and not her sweetheart whom she loved. She knew that her groom loved her very much, but did her sweetheart care for her even more than that? The young woman wasn't certain. In the end, after wavering between the two of them, the young woman even became unsure which one of them she really loved. So she became unsure in the very end. Maybe talks to Rachel's decision there at the very end too. Interesting. What we could see here in the imagery as well is, a big old mess and a bunch of raven feathers. Probably invoking what happened with Fakir's parents. Probably should look at some of the imagery used here more often, like the betrothed here, two different options, two different windows, one looking up, one looking down. Maybe even some age stuff here going on. Interesting. We start the episode proper. Fakir is stumped. He keeps, trying to read these books and research and find out stuff to help Muto, but he keeps picking up books that don't have endings. What's the deal? What's the go? We find out later on. Hold your horses, everybody. I like that it has a tangible, something happened there. It's not just a metaphor, there is something a little bit more literal and concrete to it. And yeah, really starting to hit our Princess Tutu episodic structure. Here's PK and Lily for about a minute to say some funny stuff and do some funny faces and introduce the plot, introduce whatever the main conflict is, just kind of take us from a generic everyday scenario with Ahiru into stuff that's going to impact the episode and its story. I don't know, you could almost call them like... You know when you're in a hotel and there's like the guy that like shows you through and everything? They're like the plot lobby boys, I guess, or lobby girls, I guess. Like, they're just going to show you to where the stuff happens and give you a little tour. They're not involved, they're just going to give you a look. And yeah, they're pretty funny. Again, they've got this whole, like, Ahiru has a crush on Fakir type idea, which I don't think they're too incorrect there. But yeah, obviously we see a romantic rival here. I was always seeing, like, big sister type character. I don't know. I never got romantic vibes from these two, not really. This may be something though. Hey, I'm getting Fakir to choose between two separate flowers. Like, you're choosing between two different people at the moment. Like, you're struggling for choice. Maybe want Fakir's input on said thing. Hardy hardy ha. Seriously, have we ever unpacked like what Lily's actual deal is? Like, she just likes to see Ahiru in pain. That's not a very good friend. Like, to an inhuman, sadistic level. She's on the she's on the grand pantheon of great anime villains, I think, in my view. She's just insane. What a sadistic little freak. Anyway, I do like again, I never really saw anything romantic there with Rachel, of course, but like, I do like throwing Ahiru in the deep end, making her struggle a little bit. You know, clearly a delineation here between these two. I don't know, they're just... I liked the social awkwardness. It turns into inviting Ahiru over to Charon's place. Uzura's here as well, running amok. I do like, again, you've got the thing for Charon, which we'll get there. I think it kind of comes out of nowhere a little bit. You can kind of read into this interaction and, you know, you walk in and you see a little girl and you're like, oh, do you have a, like, that's fun. But I never really saw anything. You're too much of a plain character, I think, for me to feel anything there. I don't know. So either way, I think her deal is that she's basically like a family friend, or like a, I don't know, cousin, something, not by blood, but kind of by name, if that makes any sense, by their role. Just this older female figure that was kind of around, and then parents die, and then, hey, she maybe feels somewhat responsible for the circumstances there. She's going to want to stick around and help out and make sure he ends up okay. Which is, again, that's probably where this Charon thing comes from as well. You know, taken in by Charon. She's hanging around too. Blah, 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 blah. We're both kind of together helping this guy. It's like yeah, I can kind of see that a little bit strongly now, I guess. And Uzura, very smart. She sees through it very early. Tries to say that these two are lovey-dovey. You know, maybe... maybe embarrassing Rachel a little bit here. I don't know. We love Uzura. She's chaos. Yeah, maybe I'm just stupid. There's a ton of setup here between these two. I would just like wasn't reading the dialogue or something. Like, there's a bunch of like little touches that they notice. Like Ahiru's seeing some shit. How you know, she's just trying to convince him that she's old enough as well. It's like, something's up there. Rachel also brings up Muto there briefly. We don't really want to talk about Muto and what's happening there, but at the moment it's best if you just stay away from him. Yeah, he's dancing. Just don't go anywhere near him. It's fine. She's staying at the watermill and wants to walk herself home and kind of invites Ahiru out for a little walk as well. I think she kind of wants to size her up. She's noticed that Fakir has changed. You're a new person in his life. You seem like a little bundle of joy. Like, I want to see what the go is with you, I guess. Love this as a touch, you know, as the conversation changes and gets a little bit more serious. We go under the bridge. It gets a little bit darker. Is Fakir writing stories? You asking that question comes from a little bit of a selfish place, hence the darkness. It's also a little bit of a dark subject matter. The last time he did write a story, it ended with the death of his parents. And like, okay, so now we hear from her, he used to write stories that came true. Well, that sounds a lot like Drosselmeyer. It's not so much of a stretch when we find out the familial connection a little bit later on in the session. Like, it's like, oh, well, that just follows naturally. I'm not going to say it was expected, but it wasn't unexpected. And yeah, for the record, I think that Ritzel kind of stitches Ahiru up here a little bit by not telling her the full context. Like, all she hears here is that Fakir has this extra ability that he hasn't been tapping into, that he has the potential to write a story and have it come true. Now, Rachel kind of glossed over this detail. Parts of them come true, not the full thing. He hasn't honed that ability yet, and it is a dangerous ability if not honed. The proof's in the pudding there. And yeah, that proof, she didn't mention that as well, that the last time he wrote a story, his parents died. Maybe don't bring it up to him without knowing everything, because you're going to make him upset. But back to my point, like, Ahiru doesn't know that, so she's just going to think, you know, the best of the situation. Oh, great, Muto could be saved. It's like, no, it's a little bit more complicated than that. Rachel walks into the watermill there as well and sees a wedding dress. It is clear that now she is betrothed to somebody. She comments that the one that has changed the most is actually her. I think that probably involves the whole proposal and arranged marriage type situation. I've changed if I am to accept something like this from somebody that isn't my beloved. The one that I love. Said this a couple times in the reaction as well. I think we're making a pretty clear split between Fakir as a sword, as a knight, and, you know, as a pen, as a writer, as an author, right? Like, those are his two ability sets, and he needs to learn to re-engage with the old one that he used to have because his usefulness as a knight has surpassed. So again, he's a ghost knight. He's done his little bit. He's fulfilled his role in the story. Shit. As a knight, I'm always just going to be a ghost knight. I'm always just going to be trudging around trying to find somebody to serve. What if instead of serving somebody, I became somebody even more powerful than the ones I am serving? More powerful than the kings? What if I became a god or even a magician? Any of those kind of archetypes. That's the next point of transition for Fakir, away from the old role that he had and towards this new one, the pen. And again, that's just great. It answers the question that's been dangling in front of Fakir for, what, 4 or 5 episodes now. Like, yeah, I was supposed to die, and I didn't. What's next? It's actually pretty deep, especially in combination with the stories not being finished in front of him. He can't find these endings where he currently is and the current tact that he's taking and perspective that he has. Because again, his story ought to be done by now. It's just, again, goading him ever towards this ability. And there's somebody in the background pulling the strings there too. Just lovely. Very, very well written. Just funneling him into becoming that writer again. And yeah, like I said, Ahiru just walks like into a minefield here. Like, she just says, you should use your ability that I heard about, and look at his face. He fucking hates it. It's probably the most angry we've seen Fakir in, I mean, since he became nice, basically. It's pretty serious stuff. And again, once you learn the severity later on in the episode, it's like, oh yeah, totally fair. There's a specific line there, though. I can't do anything, so I need you to do something for me. I need you to use that power that you have. Like, I'm doing everything that I can with my ability set as both Tutu and Ahiru to try to make this shit better. Are you using everything in your set? Before, again, Fakir doubles down on this whole knight shtick. Which again sets us up nicely for the end of the episode where he rescinds on that. Like, it's literally what we end with, is he's going to try writing again, you know? Also, this is just great. I like the little party they throw and how damn happy Lily is at the whole thing. I don't know. Again, very funny characters. Now over with Muto, he's back on his bullshit big time, but he's gone full Raven mode, crazy eyes, flamboyant dance moves. Very, very heterosexual stuff. Before we see Ritzel. Cool shots here. Really like some of the camera there. Almost following the arc of the fountain we are there. Kind of there. Just a little bit in the movement. Pretty smick. I like it. Just gives that off-kilter edge to that conversation, which, again, you're being ensnared right now. You know, it's meant to feel a little bit uneasy. But for the good guys, this is basically exactly what we didn't want to have happen. We have a good, pure heart that has a previous relationship with Muto going over and talking to him like nothing's wrong. Again, maybe it's better to maybe communicate with people and tell people the whole set of information. Maybe a little mini lesson in the episode for many characters. It's a bit of a misunderstanding here from Neko-sensei, because, again, Muto's trying to come onto Rachel, and she's like, oh, I'll have to call off the wedding. And then he's like, wedding senses activate, and he thinks that Muto's getting married, and he's getting married to Ru, because that's the only logical person. You've made a lot of jumps there is my point. You're not wrong. That is going to happen, maybe. But I think how you've gotten there is a little bit odd. We need to start telling this new Muto that no means no as well. Bad little boy. Smack him on the frickin' head. Smack him upside the head. Sure, whatever I'm saying. I don't know. Point being, Muto's interesting here because he's hitting upon a real feeling for Rachel. Because is she truly satisfied with who she has this arranged marriage with? Is she truly satisfied with her betrothed? No. She wants to be with her lover in Charon, who's meant a lot to her for a very long time and isn't just some random guy that just showed up. Some bartered bride stuff there for sure. It's just that Muto, in his Raven-esque glory, wants to self-insert into it and be like, no, not that other guy, but what about me? It's true that you're not satisfied with that guy. What about me? It's like, it's not about you, buddy. Come on. And as I said before, I just wish Rue had more to do. Mostly she just sits here and goes, Hey, Dad, I know that the plan is for him to harvest a heart, and I've tried to do it, and I didn't have any success at all, so only he can do it. Am I to just sit here and watch my prince, the one that I'm betrothed to, essentially, go around and date a bunch of other women? And try to corrupt them? Read between the lines there, sure. She's getting cucked. She's getting, like, super cucked. I don't know. Like, I wouldn't feel good about it. This can't be part of the plan. This can't be the good that I want from this whole thing. This couldn't be the goal. I don't know. Rue's got some movement to do in these last 5 episodes, for sure. I guess, again, taking a step back, these episodes up to this point have been her, like, cope, I guess. Her continuous just... As things have gotten worse and worse and spiraled, it's just testing her faith ever more. Which, again, there's a breaking point there, and I want to see where that is. Once again, announcing my question, what's with the disguise? I don't really understand that. Camera's damn cool this episode. Even this shot here, just this whole scene, now that Ahiru's gone and saw Rachel again. Like, it's just moving unconventionally. Very dreamy, very, just flows. Just kind of like a cloud almost. There's a calmness to some movements. There's a real like pointed movement to others. Camera's cool. It's very, very cool. It's also budget conscious too. It's a cool way to get, you know, this amount of dialogue across without having to do a whole lot of animation. Very well done. From here, we do the Fakir backstory stuff. Let me summarize. So back in the day, there was a lot of crows in town. And they were doing bad stuff. You know, you don't know any better. You're like, okay, I like to write. I'm going to write a little story where I'm the hero and I defeat all the crows. Okay, so what do I need to be the hero? Well, I need to be attacked, right? But then obviously Fakir then writes the part where he's the hero. But instead of that happening, the only part that gets interpreted there is the attack. The crows come along and swoop in and stuff. Obviously, you're a little kid. Mom and Dad want to protect you. The crows take him out. His parents die from these crows, and he feels somewhat responsible, as is the misuse of his ability. Which, again, is entirely unfair. He's like 6 years old here. Now, everybody, do you want my 2 cents? I don't think the tale ended differently. I think the tale is still going, right? So you've written this story about how you're the hero and you defeat the crows, right? Just because you don't defeat them now, and this happened, doesn't mean you won't defeat them later and fulfill your own story and your own internal prophecy there. Just a little bit of a setup maybe for our finale. Fakir going to be very important in thwarting the Raven and his plans. Yeah, I'm quite staggered at how well that's fitting in. Just, it's like it was being set up the entire time and I didn't even notice. Just that whole story just works wonderfully. And it informs so much about the Fakir we see early on in the show as well, and why he isn't very happy-go-lucky and is very like authority-based and very knight-like. He's resisting that other side of himself. He's keeping it locked away, for it is too painful for him. It's also that in the wake of that, he like leaves there and goes to Charon and then finds Muto, so then, you know, in the absence of my parents, I now have this other thing that I want to protect, this other thing that I'm going to fight for, further pushing him down that knight path. Just fits very well. I'm still waiting to see what we're doing with Uzura as well. Maybe she's just meant to be like cute kid character now that's kind of funny and says Zura a lot. That's fine if that's the whole start and beginning of it. That's the whole story there. I'm wondering if there's something more. We'll see, maybe. I don't know, I thought this interaction was curious. Just, finding our hero at just the right time and pointing her towards a bunch of crows over there. There's something in that, maybe. I should say that there's a bunch of crows over there too, because Muto's moving different. And here a pretty stereotypical Princess Tutu second core kind of scene plays out. Muto's gonna try to steal her heart. Tutu's gonna come in and convince her to not do that, because it's a bad idea. There's going to be a struggle, there's going to be a back and forth, we're basically going to say the themes at each other. It's going to be a great old time. My only query was, why is it happening here in the episode and not like here? There's more to do here, there's a little bit more meat on the bone. So yeah, this looked kind of like a lizard person. I don't think it is a lizard person, I think it's one of them cult freaks that's just keeping an eye on him, because he's got special powers. More to my Uzura theory there as well. She goes and finds Fakir and says that, Muto and Rachel have met up. That's obviously bad news. We know what that means. Like, she's like summoning everybody and bringing them in. Yeah, do you know more than you're letting on? Loving some of the, moves she does as well. Like, oh, you're engaged to somebody, and shows the ring and points to the ring finger there. It feels very ballet. It feels like interpretive dance, right? So yeah, once again, for the uninitiated, you love Charon. You think that Charon's playing hard to get and not really admitting the feelings and all that other kind of stuff. My other guy, Hans, he's great. He says he loves me all the time, but whenever I think of him, I just see Charon, my original flame. And then we have this fucko sliding in and saying, yeah, don't waver. Love only me instead. What a fucking dickhead. I hate Muto. I guess from Rachel's perspective, it's like, hey, you're tearing me apart, my lovers. The both of you, and the feelings within my heart, and the indecision. That's what's attractive about the Muto option here, and what he's presenting, which is there will be no confusion. You won't have any say in anything at all. You're just going to be harvested. And they have a real debate off here, Ahiru and Muto. Tutu here very much about embracing your emotions and embracing both sides of the beauty of the two of those loves that you have to the various guys. Where I guess, in contrast, Muto is very transactional. Like, people only love others because they want to be loved. Like, the only reason that Rachel loves Charon is because she wants Charon to love Rachel. And the only reason Hans loves Rachel is because he wants Rachel to love Hans. Like, he sees it all very cynically. There's no love without an expectation of something to be gained on the other side. If you were to spin it another way, then true love is selflessness. True love is sacrifice, which are some things which we may be leading towards in our little climax. Just a hunch that I have. As Rachel spills the beans as well, I came back here and I started talking to Fakir again because I was so confused about my current circumstance with the love and whatever. I wanted, Fakir to write something and make something definitive of it. I wanted him to use his ability that he had maybe honed during this time to just write me an ending, something that is definitive. That way I wouldn't need to think about it and I wouldn't be wavering. I don't know, you could almost read it like a prayer to a god of help me through this tough time, give me guidance, show me the correct way, which was presumptive. And now she feels even worse about it because I made Fakir think about his ability again and reuse it and whatever else, and now he's down in the dumps. So now I feel super guilty. So then we solve the whole Rachel angle of it all. Great, she's convinced. Tutu and Fakir have helped there to convince her of, I guess, the loveliness of love. It's a great feeling sometimes. Keep feeling that. At least don't go down this path. This path's bad. Which results in Muto getting a little bit more violent, Fakir jumping in, and a sword fight ensuing between the two. Where we question if the real Muto is even in there. You would even stoop as low as to do this to Rachel, somebody that was a family friend, somebody that you've known for a long time. Clearly, again, you've lost yourself in all of this, which we disprove by the end, because you didn't lose yourself in all of this. Just as you're about to strike Fakir, the other side pulls back and saves the day. That scene involves this great shot here. I love seeing your reflection within the sword. So specifically, again, based on the angles here, that would be the reflection of Fakir's sword. I'm seeing my own view in the reflection of my own knight's weapon, and something that I once commanded, something that reminds me of the connection between me and Fakir, even maybe by proxy the connection that me and Rachel shared as well. It's this moment of realization that, again, the real Muto's in there somewhere, and he's fighting back. I don't know, something about that specific sword as well, and that sword being used to pierce his heart initially, the sword from Fakir, and yeah, it's pretty deep. On top of that, just some fantastic character stuff as we kind of go between our different versions of Muto there, you know? Like all this talk about Muto being the unwavering one, and look at him here, wavering right here at the final moment, not being definitive. And as I spoke about before, I think this moment here is a inspiration to Fakir. If Muto, gone through all the shit that he's gone through, as the prince, as this super important character in the story that is facing turmoil and corruption from within and everything else, if he is able to fight against it and produce something, to face his fears literally, then maybe I'm able to face mine as well and start to reuse this power. Am I doing everything in my power to help him? He's doing everything in his power to help us by holding back this other side. Look at the struggle there. Am I using everything within my arsenal as Fakir? Here's another angle as well. Rachel, she was struggling so much with her internal stuff about the marriages and whatever, but she was keeping that hidden. She didn't stay with us, she stayed at the watermill. She wanted to keep that dress hidden. She didn't want to throw that weight onto us, right? She thought maybe about using Fakir's powers, but never asked him formally. She kind of poked around the edges there a little bit. So again, once again, she was struggling with her own shit, right? With all her might, using everything in her power. Fakir, are you doing that? Are you using everything in your power? Are you going at 100% the same way that she was? And yeah, all of this is gotten across in this montage where we see, you know, all these fading figures and dialogue from various episodes and other points of characters, you know, fighting their hardest. This moment here too, looking back on that kind of memory and finally placing himself there, not shutting it out, remembering it fully, facing those fears, and writing something on the page. And yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, because it's very fast here, but he writes something on the page, and then the very next day, Rachel wakes up and is very sure about who she wants to date and her feelings about both Charon and Hans, and which one she wants to choose, and almost creates a compromise, a best of both worlds type situation, where she says goodbye to Charon and goes off and dates this other guy, and, you know, it seems like a pretty good ending to me, almost like somebody wrote it. Is that why she wants to keep the book too? It seems like Fakir's moved the needle here a little bit, maybe. That's just my interpretation. I don't know, but then he says that I didn't write a story, but he's a bit coy about it. I don't know. And then he says he's going to write a story for Muto. Drosselmeyer breaking the fourth wall here, saying that that ability is kind of dangerous and you shouldn't be touching that kind of thing. Maybe he's getting a little bit scared. Next episode now, we start with a very familiar line. Once upon a time, there was a man who died. It's the very first line of the show, of course, and a line that's been repeated a lot during these sequences. And we just go into Drosselmeyer, basically, and the ability of, I guess we're calling them the spinners. I don't know, the people that can write tales and they come true. Like, hey, think about it logically. That power's insane. You've got control over reality. You were a god. As such, these people are very, very powerful, that kings, nobility, rich people, everybody goes and talks to them and tries to sway them one way or the other. If you're rich enough, if you're like some fucking evil tech company, could you not go to one of these guys and be like, I want our stock price to be $1 billion a share? And it would just come true? That's essentially what these guys want to do. But we see the pages here turn bloody. If you can grant wishes, that shit's gonna get kind of messy very quickly. There's a lot of power there. And then fear and instability and struggles, and it all ends very violently. So once this man died, the people rejoiced that a source of misfortune had gone. Little did they know that beyond the grave, that misfortune was only just starting once again. Thank you, Drosselmeyer. And yeah, this episode's pure insanity from the first shot here. This is like the weirdo episode. This is the freak episode. I think that's why I liked it so much. I don't know, we just come out of that intro talking about reality-bending powers and the power of storytelling and the people that can do that. Maybe very dreamlike, you know, a place where you have control over reality and what's being shown in front of you, and it can be a little bit weird and reality bending. It's very much like a dream. I don't know, that's kind of what Ahiru's doing right now, dreaming of a perfect reality where everybody's back to normal and we're all best friends and they're all dancing together. And they all kind of look yassified too, which is great. The only wrinkle here being that she can't imagine this dream scenario where she's also Ahiru the human, or Tutu, or any of it. I'm just a duck, even in my dreams. And I guess the little moral there being that she's just watching. She's not participating like everybody else is. That line from last episode, I can't do anything, I'm only doing what I can, I'm a little bit frustrated with how much I can do. Look at fucking Muto last episode. He fought against that corruption with all his gusto. Rue, whatever Rue's doing it, she's doing it with a lot of gusto as well. Fakir, he's now writing stories again. He's using that full breadth of his power. Can I truly say that I'm doing everything that I could be doing as Ahiru? Literally no. I could go confess and that would propel the plot forward and probably help things, but it'd be at the detriment of myself. And I don't know, even if that does happen, I would still be watching along from the sidelines because I wouldn't be here anymore. You know? There's no scenario whereby me as Ahiru or Tutu positively impacts things where I don't die. That's kind of what she's thinking right now. It's kind of her struggle this episode. More and more concrete stuff about this cuckoo clock metaphor too. Just as we're talking about Fakir and his stories about Muto, the cuckoo clock activates. This has always been a signal of Drosselmeyer and him affecting the plot and affecting the story. So yeah, they're two peas in a pod. They're very similar. So like I've been saying in the wake of last episode, Fakir's going to try to be using this power now. Right now in this scene, he's actually frustrated because he still can't find any books that have endings. It's very frustrating to him. Ahiru doesn't help at all here by bringing up his dead parents. Like, what are you doing? She's bad at this whole social interaction thing, man. Like, I wasn't even thinking about my dead parents till you brought them up. Bruh, come on. Either way, Fakir and Ahiru disperse. Fakir's frustrated about the books he's reading and whatever. Goes to check some more out. Strangely enough, Author-san borrowed all 5 of these books before as well as asking me to give you this, says the librarian. Like, somebody's got their eyes on you, basically. They're following your every move, and we may be a little bit more similar than we're letting on. In retrospect, now looking at the pretty obvious themes in the episode, this scene about, dancing on point is pretty on the nose. Basically, again, I feel like I'm a passenger. I feel like everybody else in the plot is excelling ahead of me. They're leaving me behind. It's like this dream sequence from before. They're all out there doing their thing, trying their hardest, giving it their all. And I'm on the sidelines still in the provisional class, still without my dancing shoes. Once again, Tutu is that avenue by which I use to dance on point. I can't do that as Ahiru. I don't have a power as Ahiru to do this stuff. Again, that clear delineation between her and Tutu. Like, Ahiru and Tutu aren't the same person to her. Now, thinking about it, do we get some toe shoes action from Tutu here, the ending? You would have to imagine yes. You would think so. Okay, there's something in that for sure. Once again, little metaphor here. As Tutu, I can dance on point all the time with my toe shoes, but will there come a time when I can do that as Ahiru and dance the pas de deux with the prince like that? Not as my alter ego, not as this thing that's been attached to me by the narrative, as this thing that is entirely me and my own power. What we're asking here is, can Ahiru as Ahiru impact our final 5 episodes here in a way that Tutu could not? Can I find a power that is solely uniquely mine and hasn't been, again, bestowed to me by some other power? She's mirroring Fakir. What's next for me? And me is in me and not me is in my role. And Neko-sensei always speaking a little bit more truth if you read between the lines here. Lately you are even more lacking in concentration than you were before. It almost seems as though you've lost your eagerness. Is it possible that you have decided you cannot do anything, and so you are not trying to move forward? Pair that with the scene last episode about her saying that she can't do anything. Proof's in the pudding there. So the question of the episode then becomes, like, what can you do? What does she do? Which she kind of fulfills by the very end, at least a little bit, by pulling Fakir back from the brink. And then, after that very kind of poignant scene from Neko-sensei, he finds a paper bag and plays around with it for a little bit. See, the show's got levels. It's so obvious on the rewatch, man. Maybe sometimes I should watch through these episodes and pause. I don't know, it would just make the picture-in-picture version very difficult, as well as the not picture-in-picture version. Anyway, shut up. In a perfect world, I'd pause in episodes, because I can remember, like, she's sitting off to the sidelines seeing these people all struggle, all her classmates. That is the exact same thing that's happening in the big picture stuff. Either way, away from that, enter Ota-san, who basically confirms that he's a big old nerd and he's been watching Fakir for a very long time. Precisely this amount of time is how long I've been watching you since you first started researching your powers, and it's taken you to now to notice me. Ugh. I noticed you. I was there. I kept seeing you. So now, like, a bunch of shit's happening. Ota basically says that I know who you are, Fakir, and I know your power. Just enough stuff to draw him in, some stuff that he shouldn't know otherwise. And at that same point, there's a shadowy figure jumping from a tree, having seen this interaction, probably watching Fakir a lot too. I think whenever we've seen these shadowy figures, they've been tailing Fakir. And yeah, we have Ota here starting to talk about Drosselmeyer's power. You want that power. Words have more power than any, little tantrum that you could throw. You gotta hone that craft. But again, Ahiru's overhearing, she knows all about Drosselmeyer, she's had myriad interactions with him. So I don't know, it's kind of the curse of the town that stories become reality, and what stops those stories from having power and that ability is their lack of completion. So if we steal the ending from a story, it's not going to occur. Or again, there's this shadowy organization that wants to control this ability. Surely if we have the power over the entire narrative in town by stealing every other book, we could control reality. Sure, I guess that's their goal. Also interesting thing about the power system here too, Ota brings it up like the original copy of a book is far more powerful than, a copy. So like, I don't know, if I find like Stephen King's manuscript for fucking something, the thing that he wrote on his goddamn fucking typewriter, if I find that instead of, a version that I bought at the bookstore today, it's going to be more powerful. This actually makes quite a bit of sense. We have that original version, the original copy of the Ghost Knight story a couple of episodes ago, and that had particular potency. And once again, there was a sneaky party that snuck in and stole that copy at the very end. That's making a lot of sense. So yeah, Ota here is saying that this power is pretty cool. If you want to attain it, all you have to do is follow exactly what I say. That activates Ahiru to run in and get all defensive. But yeah, as is Fakir at this point in the story, he's fully prepared to use this power and sacrifice whatever he needs to sacrifice to make it as potent as possible. If this is our key to fixing things, then I need to hone it, no matter what the challenges and trials and tribulations are. And then yeah, we have this gang of freaks. Basically, they've been watching Fakir too. He's awakened to this power, he's met up with Ota, we've watched this now. Let's fucking kill him. He's too dangerous. From the preview, it seems that these guys are going to have an increased role next episode. They're wary of powerful users of this power, I guess. And they're going to bide their time and watch him a little bit longer to see where he gets to. Nothing could be better if this matter resolves itself without mishaps, without us needing to move a finger. Maybe they were banking on this tree a little bit in the final act of the episode. Oh, interesting. Drosselmeyer considers these guys as like story stoppers. I thought that they would be a little bit more like wanting to possess the story, I guess. Control the narrative by limiting the amount of books in town or whatever else. They're just story haters. They want things to go back to normal. They're these shadowy figures that hate the magic of the town. Which, once again, I think the moral next week is going to be that that's not the answer either. The answer is not to stop writing forever everything. The answer is a little bit more nuanced than that. And now this is a weird memory too, but I seem to remember this guy's stupid face. Was he involved with Edel, or was that just Drosselmeyer? I think it was just Drosselmeyer. I think I'm acting dumb. It's when we saw her as a puppet, like literally as like a shadow, and Fakir was there. What was that about? I think Azura is cute. That's my hard-hitting commentary. But no, more than that. Ahiru is now like, okay, I'm fully in on helping you, Fakir. That's what we kind of satisfy by the end of this part of the episode. That's cute too. Okay, so we go to Ota, and he's all very protective over Fakir, doesn't let us enter. No, only things associated to the holy Drosselmeyer can be within this house. As he kicks out Uzura, like, he doesn't know. He's a big old sham, isn't he? She's the most connected. She's more connected than you. I'll give you that right now. Once again, Arthur's a pretty funny character. He's very high-strung. He's very particular. He's Drosselmeyer obsessed. All these things adding to the comedy of his character in a very cool way. I do like the feather of a white swan. Acceptable to substitute for a duck's feather. Hardy, hardy, ha. And yeah, he's very intense. He throws some fucking oil at him. It's all very odd. But here's the reveal. Hey, you're related to Drosselmeyer Fakir. Like, the power that you have is hereditary. It's come from somewhere. If Drosselmeyer's up here, you're here. Who's Drosselmeyer dating? Seriously? He had a wife? When? He seems reclusive. And yeah, I believe I'm probably connected this way from this branch, but I don't have all the evidence yet. Buddy, you're not on the team. You need to get out of here. Maybe I'm out on a limb here. I should talk about the other thing first as well. It's heavily implied that Drosselmeyer wrote the Ghost Knight story. And like, we specifically need to rip out those parts of those stories and maybe subconsciously Fakir's being drawn towards those particular Drosselmeyer stories as well, hence their connection. It's all implied, it's weird. There's a particular action from Ahiru there, where she's just like fucking freaking out with her head there briefly. Made me think about Neko-sensei, because it's kind of like his movement, very erratic and stuff, and kind of overstimulated. And I feel like Neko-sensei is a lot like Ahiru is right now, plagued with indecision, hence why he doesn't have a partner yet. So maybe he's got some more kind of pearls of wisdom yet to come in that regard. Like, inaction is basically the worst thing you could do. You gotta get in there, do what you can. Oh yeah, the ruined fucking Muto dance. This got messy, man. Once again, we're establishing the Ahiru. She's in the audience watching along, just a kind of member of the audience and not the star type idea. Once again, combining them with point shoes. Those metaphors in the episode quite pronounced. What is also quite pronounced is the facial expression of Muto. It's not even like before, like original Muto where there's no emotion. Now it's like scorn and like, I don't know, boredom. He just doesn't seem that jazzed about dancing with his betrothed, which probably isn't a good sign. Damn, Neko-sensei looks kind of crazy there. I don't know. The next thing that happens is, like, he puts his hand out, she tries to touch it, we get some Raven vibes, she pulls away. And then from there, we, like, punish Rue. You hesitated to take my hand, can you really say you love me? Seems kind of abusive, man. I don't know. Love this moment here from Ahiru, actually. It's very quick. One, we have Lily being a psycho again, loving the chaos. But Ahiru calls out for Ru-chan, right? As opposed to Muto. I don't care about Muto in this instance. I see Ru as the victim and I want to save her. I feel like that's a really, like, indicative moment. Like, it's very tell-all about where her priorities really lie. And then, of course, the Ru reaction there is great too. Because it's like, I can't believe Ahiru would take pity on me in this moment. She's like the one I'm like jealous of and everything, especially when it comes to Muto. It's this moment of like embarrassment where she runs away. Such a lot of a lot of emotions packed into a very small scene. So this whole interaction has like supercharged Ahiru. Like, okay, that relationship between Muto and Ru, it's deteriorating. Okay, we need Fakir in on this. I need to tell him about it. I need to get his 2 cents. Once again, a little bit supporting character-y, especially when he's in his own little training arc right now. You shouldn't really interrupt him. But all I can do right now is assist him. Interesting. But yeah, Fakir's no help. He's been standing still and not eating for 3 days as to hone his mind. I don't know. You're a very, very strict teacher, Mr. Ota-san. I don't know, all I'm gonna say is those that can't do teach. Big coach vibes, big like failed player vibes. We enter the climax of the episode here now with the tail spinners and their challenge, using the oak tree to test their power. If you touch that oak when the bell has just finished tolling midnight, you should be able to hear its voice if you have the power. That is the proof of your power. Incidentally, I clearly heard the tree make a sound like a faint sigh. Although someone who didn't have the power would probably think it's just the wind. You're a fucking sham. And even if you did hear it sigh, it probably sighed because it's sick of your shit. Yeah, I like Fakir here. He's clearly like chosen wanting out. It's like, I know the exact spot where I should be touching at that certain time, almost innately. because I'm so much more special than you. So yes, as the direct descendant, Fakir has the touch. And yeah, we're going to watch the test from here and see how he goes. Author does leave us with one final warning though. It does get dangerous. There are those that get sucked in by the tree and lose their lives. And yeah, this sequence is just mental. Like, I'm going to try communicating with this tree and resisting its power and test my abilities, and I really like Ahiru's role, of course, in support, dancing around said tree, trying to assist Fakir however we can. Also like Author being taken down a couple pegs as well. Really cool effect too, cool shot. I was kind of paused on the impact frame there, but the rest of the animation's no slouch either. Good looking show, man. And then he turns into a fucking tree. I don't know. What do I have to say about this? Okay, a couple of things. Trees are very time immemorial. Like, they're just gonna fucking be here forever. They're very... It's like a tale as old as time is the vibe, I guess. So I don't know, your power is ancient, and in interacting with this tree, you're interacting with the same thing that many other people throughout time that had the same power have interacted with. It's the same test that probably Drosselmeyer had to go through as well. It's just connecting you to your roots, hardy hardy ha. As well as, again, the tree, family tree, that could be part of the metaphor there too. And I mean, the visuals are insane. Like, there's like clock gears and like trees and crazy stuff. A sound, a clock, gears turning, spinning, light, tree, sunny day. Okay, the clock and the gears have always been indicative of the story and that creation process and of Drosselmeyer. That directly linking into reality and what is being controlled there is pretty cool. Like, it's a creative way to show that, you know, the storytelling process and its effect on the forest and the trees and the land and stuff. I don't know, it's pretty fucking out there, guys. I don't know. And she tends to speak in riddles, that being the tree, so I'm not really sure I could pull much from her dialogue. I'm trying, but I'm not seeing a lot. She's just kind of like, the beginning will end and the ending will begin. It's like, I don't know. It feels very mystical and freaky and stuff, and ultimately confusing. Once again, we're spinning through the sky before, like, landing as a raindrop in the river, in town, in the moat. I don't know, our actions up here can change everything. It causes a ripple effect through time. It's very cyclical and circular as well. And this whole time, Tutu's just struggling. Get out of the damn tree, man. Come on. Existence is false, truth is nothingness. Whatever you say, tree. Okay, I guess you could see it as this. It's a tug of war between Fakir and his reality-bending power, and reality itself, and the natural order, I guess. So hey, the natural order here, i.e. the tree voice, is trying to convince him to fade away into nothingness and become part of the ether, and watch from afar. Again, the ultimate audience member if he wanted to be so, or that way inclined. What we need to convince Fakir to do is to be the main character, to take hold of this reality-changing power, and use it for his benefit. Hopefully, again, not going too far down the Drosselmeyer end of things in doing so. Very Evangelion-y as well, being absorbed into just a big homogenized thing. Just a little bit. And then the power of individuality and our impact on things. Should I be an individual that impacts things like so? Or should I become part of a larger whole? What is more harmonious? To those who resist everything glory. We're trying to convince him and pull him over, but he keeps hearing Ahiru down below. He keeps turning his head and looking down there and just seeing what's going on. In the end there, he reaches his hand up and asks for Ahiru. As opposed to anything else from this whole experience, he's more, I guess, enamored with her. Needless to say, I ship it. So I guess, point being, Ahiru used her power here. She thought that she was going to be useless and ancillary and blah, 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 blah. But her power is her kindness, and that human connection is the thing that pulled Fakir back from drifting further away and becoming nothingness. She assisted in the process of him getting better, using his reality-bending writing abilities. And, yeah, I mean, Author also saw that Tutu was here as well, but he still seems pretty chuffed with the whole thing. I'm sorry, Fakir, I couldn't do anything, not a thing. But au contraire, Princess Tutu, you did do something. I heard a voice, I heard your voice, and that's where we leave it, with those two. Instead, our last little scene here has Rue having a bit of a whinge, sulking. Someday the prince will become my prince alone. So yeah, she's still just being cucked, and then Muto's struggling with his own sense of self. There's a forever tug of war within him. What should I do? Should I love? Love? How? No, I will be loved. Love me. Love me. Once again, very selfish in love, very transactional, which has been this thing ongoing with that Raven-type part of his persona, and probably the Raven character overall. It's only natural that as that manifests more and more, he turns into a goddamn Raven. What's that about? Now, this episode has been very dreamlike. I'm wondering if this is a bit of an abstraction and he's not literally a crow, but I guess we're going to need to wait till next episode to find stuff out. If anything, this would tell me that the tug of war is being won over by the Raven side as things are leading ever closer to our climax. And yeah, Drosselmeyer seems fucking pissed too as he tries to repair the damn clock. I don't know what to make of any of that. We'll leave it there. Good episodes. Confusing, but good. Hopefully you got something out of my rambling. I thought it was okay. I'm a little bit hard on myself sometimes, but if I come out feeling alright, it normally ends up alright in the edit. But either way, thank you for watching. We're getting towards the pointy end. I'm going to imagine I do 2 next week and then aim for 3 the following, but we'll see. Like the video, subscribe, all that other kind of jazz. I'm out of here. It's hot. It's hot in here. It's not as hot as the other day, but it's still hot. You'll see me next time. Thank you for watching. Patreon. See you later. Thank you. Goodbye.